What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a unique little title called Aegis Descent. This is a game that's set like in an alternate timeline of like the 1940s, like World War II, where you are a mech pilot and you're going down into a secret facility that's full of bugs that want you dead. Ultimately, you go room by room. The game uses an FTL-style mapping system. There's a bunch of different gear and upgrades and unlocks and perks and things of that nature. Really, what I think the game does cool, though, is that it's from a first-person perspective, so you're always kind of looking at the canopy of your weird little hover tank that you've got going on, and it's got like a nice little mishmash of aesthetics, I guess. And so anyways, if after watching this video you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. On top of that, you can also swing through my Discord and my Twitch stream just in case you wanted to hang out live. But let's dive on in. We're going to go ahead and continue the game real fast, and at the beginning of the game there's going to be a bunch of different loadout things that you're going to be able to do straight off the bat. So effectively, the progression system in this game works as thus. As you play the game, you're going to get achievements. The game has achievements inside of it called awards. As you do those awards, you're going to get award score, which is going to effectively level up your account. On top of that, while you're leveling up your account, that's going to unlock new pilots, that's going to unlock new guns, that's going to unlock new fun things for you to play around with. Every single time you do a run and you die, you're going to get victory points for how far you made it on into the game. That's going to allow you to upgrade the things that you have unlocked, from your pilots to your guns to your weapons and everything else. And boy, is there a lot of stuff to unlock. Every single pilot has like a bunch of different perks that you will discover as you play the game. Those all upgrade. Every single weapon in the game, if we go back, has its own perk trees where you can unlock these and then add points to them to make them better. And so anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this game that you can slowly work towards getting stronger with. For right now, I actually really want to upgrade my damage. So what this does right here is it makes it so that the javelin cannon, our ship comes effectively with two guns right now. We've got the Javelin, and we've got the Gustav, and we've got the Sidewinder. The Javelin is basically like a 50 cal. It just lights the enemy up, and it's got infinite ammo. And I've got a perk right here that makes it gain 10% damage per second while I'm just holding it down till it goes click. And I find that the enemies in this game are pretty tanky and difficult to take down a lot of the time, as would be expected from a game that involves hover tanks. And so anyways, I'd like to get my damage up. This right here is going to make me deal damage based on proximity to the enemy as well, which I think will absolutely help. I haven't found all the other perks yet. The perks unlock as you're playing the game. You get to these places called data terminals, and basically you're downloading research data from this place that then your team back at base is using to make your mech better on each concurrent run. And so anyways, that's why some of them have question marks. The ones that have locks, those are locked by your award score. And so anyways, we still have 100 victory points left. I'd like to add those to something. So it looks like we've got piercing shot, and it looks like we've got AoE radius and increase the damage. Okay, so that turns it into like a single target bomb that we drop on the enemy. That sounds pretty good. Not sure why the screen just flickered right there. I don't know if that was part of like the little slide reel effect that they're going through. Oh, I know what happened. Apparently the outdated, antiquated program iTunes decided that now was the time to notify me that it still exists in the most depressed tone that it could possibly muster. Anyway, sorry about that flicker. Apparently I've got outside interference messing with my recording right now, just making me look like the consummate professional that I am. Let's go ahead and say that we're ready for battle, and we'll jump on into a fight so that you can see what the actual gameplay looks like.
Fully loaded and ready to go. Treat it well, pilot, and you'll come home in one piece.
So off we go in our super awesome upgraded battle mech. This is the game right here, and in fact, I really like the Descent-style vibe that it's got going on, but then again, Descent is written right there in the title, isn't it? So let's talk about the HUD right now so that you can understand what's going on as I'm playing the game. We'll go from the left to the right. So on the left, we have our coolant meter. As we fire our weapons, we're going to overheat a la Mech Warrior. That means every now and again, you're going to let this thing cycle so that the coolness can go up. Over that, with the big blue light right there, that's our energy, our battery. When it's in the blue, we can actually trigger a super attack that releases an EMP that kills off everything all around us. Underneath that, you'll see the ammo counter for our... Well, okay. I don't know how I feel about this gun. This is one of the new guns that I unlocked, and I don't know if I'm in love with it. We'll give it a try, though, on this run. No biggie, no harm, no foul. Playing around with new gear is kind of what you're supposed to do in this game. We've got our radar. Next to that's going to show us where enemies and objectives are. Underneath that, you've got the ammo that we currently have for our cannon. If you want to swap weapons, you basically middle mouse click, and it'll swap what weapon you're discharging at the enemy. And then the bottom right is going to be the ammo for our Sidewinder missiles. And then that big green block above that. The big green block is basically our armor plates. So basically, as we take damage, that's going to go down. Armor can only be repaired if the plate hasn't been completely and totally destroyed. You can kind of see how it's segmented. If you go down past a segment, you have to find an official repair facility that'll strap more plates onto your tank. And then on the right-hand side is the threat meter. As we play through the game, there's going to be modifiers that are introduced that are going to make the enemies stronger and kind of give them little bonuses against us. All right, so let's light these guys up. It looks like we've got a whole bunch of these little dudes around here. I'm going to grab some scrap off the ground. You can shoot down enemy bullets, by the way, and in fact, you are encouraged to do so. Well, it does a lot more damage. So, like, I've got a minigun that you start out with at the beginning in this game, and I like the minigun a lot. My main issue with the minigun, though, is that it hits for doo-doo trash damage. I can tell this gun is going to be terrible for getting rid of swarms, though. There are a couple of maneuvers you can do inside of this tank. That's an enemy spawner right there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. It's all nice and taken care of. Those are turrets, so we're going to shoot those down real fast, and the room is going to unlock as soon as we get done destroying everything inside of it. But anyways, I had a minigun. I'm going to light that up with the cannon real fast. There we go. Spawners down. We'll take out that turret, and it looks like we've completed the room, and we finished off our objective. But the maneuvers that I was talking about, you can press the shift key. That's going to make you do a ram, basically, and you can ram things in this game. You're immune while you're dashing to, like, all forms of damage, effectively, as far as I can tell, anyways. And then if we press the space bar, it's going to hover our tank up into the air and allow us to do kind of like a limited hover. However, both of those maneuvers do drain our battery. So just something to keep in mind as you play. There's a little bit more scrap on the ground over here. I'm going to pick that up. The scrap is a currency that you use in order to upgrade and repair your mech as you play through the game. And so we do want to pick up all these crates if we can possibly grab them. There we go. A little bit more scrap. So on the map right now, we can either go to a hazard room or we can go to a combat room. I think I'm going to go with the combat room because I think that leads to an intel room. And so we'll go through this one right here. And let's see if we can find ourselves any more enemies to take down. Every single time you complete a room that's got a combat challenge inside of it, you're going to be given a perk that basically is going to upgrade your character. So, for example, right here we've got Berserker. So all of our weapon damage goes up by 20% when we get down below when we get to our final health chunk, basically. These ones are unidentified. Until you take these, you don't know what they are, but they do get added to the master list after you've taken them for the first time. So we've got Sustained Fire. Reduce heat generation by 2% for every second of sustained fire. That's actually pretty good for things like the minigun that like to pretty overwhelmingly overheat on you. Overheating in this game, really, really bad. I promise you don't want to overheat. You're going to have a bad time if you overheat. You basically can't do anything. You just kind of have to sit there and like try to maneuver and avoid enemies once your heat's been lined up. Oh, we're getting shot at by a lot of stuff right now. Yeah, let me shoot you with a cannon real quick. Yeah, we're taking some damage here. I don't love it. My gun is not crazy accurate, though. So, like, I'm kind of waiting for bullets to land. The good news is we got an armor repair right there, and I've got to reload. I'm going to go ahead and put some damage on this and then ram it. There we go. We've destroyed it. I would like to see a little bit more hit feedback on the ram, like a little stop frame right there where it freezes the game for just like a microsecond and then does like a big ka-glong. You know, because you're a tank, dude. It should feel like you're in a tank when you run into other objects. In general, I actually feel like there's a lot of things that like could be done a tiny bit better with this game. I'm finding the sound effects on the gun to be a little bit wispy. Like, I feel like they could really afford to be punched up a little bit and be a little bit more obvious in the overall soundscape of the game. Like, after all, we're playing a game about heavy metal and tanks, you know what I mean? I want to hear the gunshots go off. I want to hear, you know, when I fire an auto cannon, I want it to be like, guh, and I want it to kind of rattle the canopy, you know what I mean? When enemies get hit, I want to hear all those tings and tangs and piangs and ricochets. And like when we hit enemies, they just kind of flash white. They don't really recognize that they've been shot. And so like if I'm shooting them with this powerful autocannon right here, I would expect them to kind of like wither and flinch underneath the gunfire. But there is really none of that. I think a suitable replacement would also be like when you do that... Oh, it didn't actually count as a ram right there. All right, well, we'll finish you off. I think a suitable replacement right there would also be... instead of them like flinching and hunkering down and trying to run away when they get hit, it might also be cool if when you shot the enemies, big like metal chunks flew off of them and things of that nature. We got a few more turrets left. We'll go ahead and wipe that out right there. Very nice. And then we've got a new enemy right here, but I gotta wait for him to actually like land and take a pass at me. I got him with the AoE right there, but I didn't actually get him with a hit. We're taking a little bit of damage. I do think the game could telegraph when you're getting hit a little bit better, too. There we go. Nailed him right up the booty hole with that one. We got him with the old robotic poop hole loophole. All right, so we are ready to roll on out of here. Let me make sure there's not anything laying on the ground that I forgot to pick up. That's just a battery charger right there, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. We've got 2 room options for right now. We can go to an intel station, which is going to give us some perks that we can buy, or we can go to a combat room. I'm going to go to the intel station because I'd like to keep my tank sort of upgrading and becoming better in the overall metagame escalation, but, you know... Oh, scrap over here. Very nice. I do like the destructibility of the environments and how, like, all of these random loaders and things can be destroyed. I do think that the explosions could be pumped up a little bit, though, too, with a few more lighting effects. The game is actually made in Unreal, which means that those things should be available, and I think their addition would actually elevate the experience a little bit, too. We can reload our guns faster. I'm just going to take an unidentified perk. You are 10% faster while hovering. Okay. I can live with that. It looks like the enemies got their first event, their first escalation. Their turrets now deal more damage. I think I can live with that. That doesn't sound too bad. Let's take a little cruise around the room. Oh, yeah, this was an intel room. That's right. There shouldn't... Well, did I go in the wrong door? I may have gone in the wrong door. I don't know. Either way, there's definitely enemies in the inside of here, and that's making me feel very, very nervous. We are, yes, indeed, taking a beating right now. I'm going to go ahead and light off my AoE. The AoE special effect could also be pumped up a little bit. I lit off my AoE right there. Did you see it? Exactly. The spell effect for the AoE is not exactly super obvious or, like, noticeable. And that's a shame because, like, that's supposed to be, like, your ultimate super weapon that's digging you out of a problem. You know what I mean? There we go. We got our little repair thing right there to make our armor come back. See if I can kill this guy off with maybe, like, a ram. There we go. We rammed him and took care of him. But anyways, the super ability on your Q, what I was thinking is it would have kind of like a whoop, 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 and it would go into like very, very slow motion for like a half second. And then when it lights off, it's just got that, you know what I mean? And then just like increase the opacity a little bit on the spell effect to make it look a little bit nicer so that the player felt like they used a super weapon right there. This is one of those games where I feel like the cake is in all the right places. So, like, the structure of the game is good. It's just the accompaniment and whatnot of the visual flair and the audio that I think could be ramped up just a little tiny bit to make it feel and look and, you know, taste a little bit better. Why am I tasting the game, you're asking? I don't know, dude. I like to do, like, a 5... you know, when I approach these little videos, I like to have a 5-sense approach. You know, you got to sniff it, you got to smell it, you got to lick it, you got to hear it, and you got to touch it. And you haven't done your job properly until those things are finished on off. We are getting a warning klaxon right now because our battery is kind of low. I don't see any battery objects laying around. Oh, there's a spawner over here. I totally missed it. There we go. No more spawner. It's been taken care of. With our 230 scrap, we got to decide where we want to go. There's an elite room over here, and we get a bunch of perks for doing an elite room. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so new perks. When firing, increase your damage by 10% per second. Yes. I want that. Throw that on the old rig right there. That sounds great. I'm always all in on more damage solutions because the enemies in this game, the TTK can be quite long from time to time when killing enemies. He's shooting at us. How's our heat looking? Our heat's looking okay. I'll just hold it down till it goes click because we got a real nice streak of damage going off right here. There is a bigger, nastier enemy right there that I think we're going to have to deal with as we come around the corner. Might be a good candidate for a cannon blast. Got him with it. Very nice. We are reloading at the moment, and I am... Oh, we lost, like, all of our armor here. Okay, why is Oh, I overheated? I wasn't sure exactly what happened. Okay, let's go ahead and light you up real fast. Yeah, I know. It's because this guy has bullets that, like, track me like crazy. He's basically got, like, a hit scan gun. Okay, yeah, we're going to want to track down a repair station before we go too much further on into the level. We're getting chewed on pretty solidly right now. There we go. That enemy's now down. I do think that the movement feels very, very fluid, and honestly, the soundtrack is super badass. Let me pull up the soundtrack for you once we get out of this room so you can kind of hear the rocking heavy metal that's going on. All right. We're starting to clear our way through the room. A little bit. Ram you, maybe a little bit more damage off. Voice acting is obviously nothing to write home about, but honestly, I tend to give games a pass when they're indie games on voice acting because, like, indie games aren't exactly known for their phenomenal voice acting. You get the occasional standout like Firewatch or like Darkest Dungeon or something, but by and large, most indie games are kind of a function of budgetary constraints, and so I don't really spite people for having, voice acting that's kind of like not that great. We'll go ahead and wipe out a few more enemies over here till it goes click. Very nice. Few more enemies down. We do have an elite turret right there that I walked right into. Oh, I've got like little shock splines running around all over the place. I do have a repair node over here. I'm going to go grab it real fast because we're on our final 2 health chunks. But yeah, movement feels fairly fluid, actually. I feel like they've struck a reasonably decent strip of land in between having it feel like you're in a tank and yet still leaving you with enough like visibility and maneuverability in order to get the reticle onto things that you want to get the reticle onto. Well, this will be a fun room, all nice and surrounded by turrets. Go ahead and take you out real fast. Take you out. We should almost be done here, I would think. Elite turret right there. We'll knock that one out. Cool. Good to go. We are 100% going to have to find a repair station, though, because our armor is... it's absolutely in, like, steely, ribbony bits right now, which I find to be deeply concerning. And, in fact, there's a repair bay right here. We'll take it. Repair bay. All right, so we get to pick 2 perks. We can get the reload time on our cannon increased, or we can get more victory points from the run, or we can unlock something new that we've never seen before. I'll go with something new. So we've got global projectile speed is up by 50%. Okay. And then we've also got immediately get 25 victory points when you get this perk. Fantastic. That's going to make our perk that's going to make our run a little bit more fortuitous once we get to the end and we're actually able to spend points to upgrade things. And I think that's where the game does a really, really good job, is that there's a lot of stuff to unlock and like progressively make better in this game. There really sincerely is. Lots of scrap inside of here. That's good because I think it's like 100 scrap per plate that we repair. And so I'm probably going to spend pretty much all of my new yen here making sure that we've got a nice, satisfying green health bar. Ammo crate right there. I'll go ahead and take it. That's nice. Got a little bit more scrap right there. But as I was saying, the cake is all in the right places. I think the structure of this game is very, very good. Now, it kind of reminds me of Everspace when it was in its first iteration. Now, this game's not going into early access. This game is going into full release. But I would recommend that the game gets these polishes and these add-ons to make it like a little bit more immersive. So like I've really been having trouble with like hit detection on my character. It's hard to know when I'm getting hit. What I'd like to see there is a little bit more shake to the canopy when you get struck. And then I'd also love to see the glass get bullet holes knocked in it and scorch marks as your health goes down. And like the metal that frames the actual canopy should start to get bent and knocked out of place. And like it should shower sparks all over the interior cabin. You know what I mean? Like things that really make it apparent that you're taking hits and like taking damage and stuff. Hull repair. We'll go ahead and do that. So that's going to bump us up to, I think, 55%. Yes. And then it's going to be 200 to go up to 80%. That's very, very expensive, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. That did fix up our meter at a reasonable capacity. We can take a hazard room or we can take a fight room. I think I'll take a hazard room because you haven't seen one of those before. This is one of the rooms that's going to like... Ooh, boss enemies now have more health. Fun. That'll be enjoyable. The boss is pretty tanky in this game already, so that should be an interesting experience. Hazard rooms are going to have, like, fire pits and stuff in them that you've got to use, like, your levitation and whatnot to get around. Go ahead and light him up real fast. Very nice. We are going to want to liquidate the spawner right there. However, our heat is getting a little bit too high for my blood. Can't even tell if I'm hitting this thing, so I'm just going to ram it real fast and get rid of it. Ow, that was very, very stingy. I don't want to lose any more armor chunks. I'm going to see if I can get up here There we go. We're up and on the top level. There are a few more enemies left around, but they are squirrel holed back on in here, which should make it into like a shooting gallery, basically. Sometimes the movement of the AI gets a little bit confused, as you just saw right there, where it gets like stuck on a wall or something else like that. I think they're using very, very like rudimentary nav meshes or whatever. And I think that's one of those things that could be cleaned up. Like, and that kind of ties into like how immersive is it when I'm shooting an enemy and they're not really like moving or recognizing that I've shot them. It makes my guns feel wispy and weak. I'd like the bullets to kind of knock enemies back and make them roll and make them screech and stuff like that, you know. Make them flinch and try to like lean away from the side that they're getting hit to or stagger a little bit. Would be all nice ways, on top of like kind of making the gun sounds a little bit louder, to make the game feel a little bit punchier. Like, that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all the game needs, because they've got like a really cool premise in front of them. Like, they've got a game that's predicated on like a really, really cool idea, and honestly, it's very, very functional. It's actually mostly just the audio stuff and like the feedback stuff that I think could be cleaned up a little bit in order to make the experience a little bit more immersive and satisfying. And the good news is that that kind of stuff is not like a bug that you've got to like track down and fix. That's just a thing that you can fix real fast by messing around in an audio mixer and like adding a little bit more camera shake and whatnot. I don't know what those are right there. Ow. Stop that. Quit it. You're hurting me, and more importantly, you're hurting yourself. Some kind of like flying turret. Oh, there's a turret over there. Gotcha. We do have to destroy the green things on the walls. It calls them gas canisters. I don't know exactly what they're gas canisters for or like what they do, but every now and again it gives you that as an objective inside the room. Oh yeah. Can we hear the music? What are those things? Just flying around. All right, so we've got two options from here. We can go to a hazard room or another elite room. The elite room basically knocked me down, took my lunch tray, and ate my sandwich last time, so I don't want to do that. So I'll probably take a look around for the hazard room, although I don't exactly know where it might be at. Hazard room, where are you? That's the elite room. There's the hazard room. I mean, we just did a hazard room. Like, we just had a giant gunfight inside of a smelter. But, you know, let's get more hazardous with it. Why not? Alright, so I'll take an unidentified perk here. Reduce homing. Oh, yeah, we haven't fired any homing missiles yet. Maybe I should do that. Do you guys like missiles? I feel like you guys probably like missiles. There you go. There's some missiles, just so you can see what that looks like. I believe that I have been arced with lightning, which I feel is actually quite worrisome as a concept. There are a lot of turrets in this room, and we are going to have to do something about that. I'm losing armor chunks like crazy here. Okay, there's another turret down. Heat's still looking okay. We're a little bit low. Dude, what is shooting me with that laser thing? That's so annoying, dude. That's so far away. Good lord. I'm going to go ahead and lock on and just kill his ass. Okay, yeah, the missiles didn't do quite what I was hoping they would do. I was hoping they would be a little bit deadlier. I don't know. I fired a full salvo of like 6 missiles into that thing, and it didn't flinch. It didn't move. It didn't even care. It was just like, shrug. Shrug. Puny human weapon. Physics have no effect on me. Continue to dream. I shall not be knocked around by your righteous fusillade. And I was like, but it's my fusillade. I worked really hard on it. I hate it when people fail to properly respect my fusillade. I think we got most of the enemies that actually, like, attack and try to hurt us inside of here. So I think we should be alright. Take you out. And it says there's a gas canister left. Oh, yeah, there it is. There we go. Gas canister knocked on out. Now, the good news is we have another repair room. Normally, you don't get this lucky when it comes to repair rooms. I'm going to kind of levitate over the top right there to grab that scrap because we're going to need it if we want to properly repair. There we go. All right, so we've got a perk. I'm just going to take an unidentified one. Decrease projectile speed by 10% and increase your damage by more. Okay, that's like fine. And then apparently hazards are now more damaging for the rest of this run. All right, perfect. Let's get on in here. I'm going to grab some scrap where I can, though. Ooh, free missiles. Nice. I'll take some more missiles. A little bit more scrap over here, too. Yeah, that sounds like an equitable exchange. I'll take it. I really like the menus in this game. I like the kind of like alternate dossier kind of slide projector thing that they did with the menus. It's very, very satisfying, and they really captured what made like Fallout menus really satisfying too, with all the analog clicks and whatnot. Frankly, I feel like the analog UI that they went through for the majority of this game is actually quite good. There we go. We repaired our armor chunk, which at the bare minimum should help out. We got a boss fight coming up next, and so that's where it's going to kind of get hectic. We'll get our free 10% right there, straight up front, and then we will pay for the 30% after, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that'll take us up to 85% health, which is not too bad. Could be better, could be worse. I'll take it. I fought this boss before, so I know exactly what it is that he's going to do. And so it shouldn't be too much of a problem once we get into the saddle with him. I should be able to clear him out, I think. But then again, I've been known to be a little bit overly ambitious, and I've been known to kind of like overestimate my abilities too. I picked the wrong time to reload, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, fire missiles at this guy. Okay, so he's a death ray. He's going to occasionally spray death rays at us. And that's pretty much all you need to know about him. That's what he does. So we've got to alternate between shooting down all these enemy bullets and making sure we don't get blapped by the death ray. There we go. A little bit more damage off. Shoot down those bullets. Okay, he got through, so we need to get to a new spot that gives us cover. Fire off a few more missiles. Shoot down a few more bullets. We are taking damage right now, though, which is kind of unfortunate. Oh, we overheated. Lovely. So I'm going to miss this attack rotation. Fair enough. Shoot down all the bullets. All right, we're going to need to be somewhere else so we can take cover from the death ray. Get some missiles out. Took a little bit of a hit right there. Oh, we overheated again. Damn. All right. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with my performance right now. I just can't keep my guns cooled. Oh, it's the missiles that are doing it. I was going to say, because I thought I was running a fairly cool weapon this time around. Yeah, it's the missiles that are doing it. So we just went over again, I think. All right, let's get away real fast. I need an armor repair. Never mind, doesn't matter. We lost the chunk. Completely and totally irrelevant. When my guns take 7 hours to reload, unfortunately, we're going to take a lot of damage because you functionally have to shoot down those bullets. You have no choice. So there's no other way around it. Okay. Heat's a little bit high. I'll grab what I can grab over here. And actually, I think we're out of cover. I think he's destroyed it all. There we go. Put out a couple of missiles. We'll sort of like battery charge over this way, although I am a little bit low on battery. There we go. Enemies down. We took care of them. I mean, we have like 3% health left, though, so we didn't come out of it unscuffed. But yeah, this is Aegis Descent. I think the game actually mechanically is like fine. There doesn't seem to be a lot of build diversity, so like when you play games like Enter the Gungeon or whatever, you have like a build in mind, whether it's like fire or like split bullets or like whatever else. This game mostly seems to be flat linear increases to stuff that you would expect, like reload speed, damage, firing rate, you know, range, that kind of stuff. I'm okay with the linearity of the upgrades. It never really particularly bothered me in a game, but for people that like to theory craft builds, this may not be the roguelite for you. But the premise of the game is pretty cool, I'll be honest with you. Like I said earlier, like the cake is all here. I think that like most of the stuff that I noticed is pretty like easy to fix. It's like there's nothing inherently wrong with the game, you know what I mean? It's just like the cake is there now. It just needs like a little bit more frosting, a little bit better hit feedback for like when you're getting hit and for when enemies are getting hit. And then, you know, like the audio needs to be EQ'd a little bit better so that you can the sounds become distinct amongst each other. And then I think they'll be ready to rock. And by no means are those things like deal breakers. Like the game feels all right. Like I had no frame dips. I haven't had any bugs or any other major issues on the technical front. And so like, honestly, Very, very interesting and unique take on kind of an arena-based roguelite. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were playing a little bit of Aegis Descent. Tomorrow, we will very likely be playing something else. Thank you for stopping on in and giving me the luxury of your attention. I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye, everybody.